What's up, Ryan K here from Refer.io, and today we're going to talk about, what you do if you feel like you just don't have what it takes to move to the next level. Like you're individually stagnant. How do you go about progressing and evolving? How do you go about leveling up what I call your powers? Now, before we jump in, take a second, hit like, hit subscribe. Don't want you to miss out on the videos coming up. Love all of your support. So let's jump right in. Now, look, if you feel like you're not advancing at work, if you're stagnated, if your career is not progressing the way you want it to, most likely it's you, not somebody else. Now, let me say that because I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings here. While the economy might tank, while layoffs might be happening, while your boss might be a jerk, while all of those things could happen, you don't control any of those things. So in my world, they don't matter. Now, here's the only amount that they matter. You can tell me, hey, XYZ is happening as long as you finish that statement with and so I did X. So my boss is a jerk. That is an excuse. That's pointing the blame away from you and therefore giving away your power to solve the problem. Because you can't make your boss not a jerk. He's a human. He has his own choices. He has his own free will. So if your boss is a jerk, then you have to finish the statement by taking your power back. So my boss is a jerk, and so I quit. Cool. Now I've taken my power back. My boss is a jerk, and so I applied for a job in a different department. My boss is a jerk, and so I found 5 new places to go work. My boss is a jerk, and so I sat him down and said, hey, why are you such a jerk? Like, my boss is a jerk, and so I changed the way I was approaching the situation. Or I asked more questions and said, hey, I don't understand why you're acting the way you're acting towards me. What can I do to make your life better, to make our relationship better, to change the way that the friction is happening here? Does that mean your boss is going to stop being a jerk? Probably not. But what it does do is it says, I put it in my power to solve the problem, to solve my problem. Because my boss being a jerk is my problem because I'm standing there next to my boss. I could at any time choose to not be there. And so when you're thinking about this idea of why am I stagnated? Why am I not progressing? Why am I not getting the job I want? Most likely the answer is because you're not becoming the version of you that you have to become to get that job. Now, does becoming a different version guarantee you'll get the job? Of course not. But not changing is 100% guaranteed to not get you the job. And so we want to do things that will prepare us for that next job. There's a great Stoic quote for this that says, may fortune, that would be luck, may fortune find me active and prepared. Active and prepared. Now think about the opposite of that. If I say, oh man, unemployment's super high and people are getting laid off, it's just a terrible job market right now. Well, all of those things could be true. None of them are in your control. Therefore, fortune is going to find you inactive and sitting on the side of the road complaining. That's not the quote, right? Whereas if I said instead, and so I spent a bunch of time learning ChatGPT and AI because I believe that's the future, which leveled up my powers at work, my skills, my abilities, etc. That set the stage for me to take advantage of new situations that came up. And so the way that we start thinking about our powers, right, or the powers we're going to use, there's a handful of core things, right? So number one is our network. There's a saying that it's not about what you know, but who you know. 100% true. You are getting a job from somebody else, therefore it's a human. You are going to be working with other people, therefore they're humans. You are going to be working with customers or prospects, and they're humans. Very much almost everything we do has something to do with a human. While we might be face-to-face, we might be over the phone, we might be via chat, they might be landing on a web page, there's still another human, trust me. We are not at the age where we're only dealing with robots. And so because of that, building your network is wildly important to progress your career. The reason is not just that they might give you a job, they might refer you to a job, but also that they have knowledge that you need to help you evolve. Some of those humans are future bosses or future HR people. Some of those humans in your network are people doing the job now that you can ask questions to, and they will give you advice. Some of them are mentors. Some of them are customers that if you just knew them better would help you evolve. So number one is building up your network power, right? It's not just how many people you know, it's how well you know them, and it's how much you've added value to that network that says it's core strength. Number two is expanding your knowledge. I graduated from college with a bachelor's degree in accounting. I got an MBA. I use very little of what I learned during that time period. Since then, I've probably read 6,000 books, listened to thousands of podcasts, gone to thousands of webinars. I consume new information all the time. Expanding your knowledge doesn't mean completing a book. It means gleaning from that book the framework, the concept, the strategy, whatever the case that may be that's in there. And for the most part, reading is not required for having a job. And in fact, that's why most people don't read, why they don't consume that content. We were trained when we went to school that the teacher, follow the leader told us what we needed to read, what we needed to learn, and there was a test. And just think back, if there hadn't been a test, how much of it would you have read? Most likely not very much. Now we get out into the real world where a leader is generally not telling us to read a book. He or she is not telling us what we need to learn. It's just that when we don't learn it, we're stuck and held from progressing. This is something you have to solve for yourself, of identifying what new knowledge do I need to gain to prepare me not just to be great at my job today, but to prepare me for the job I want next. This could be industry news and trends. It could be courses and workshops. It could be actually books and articles. It could be, going to HubSpot and HubSpot Academy and watching all their videos, etc. Expand your knowledge. Number three, expand your skills. Normally, I define a skill as being something like the ability to create an output. That could be writing skills. It could be creating blogs. It could be using different software. Knowledge, stuff that's inside of you. Skills, stuff that's the output, right? You should be constantly, over the last 2 years, even though I successfully exited Applicant Pro, I've spent 3,000 hours with ChatGPT. Why? Because I needed to level up my skills because I knew it was going to be important in the future. And finally, number four, improve your presentation ability. What I mean by presentation is that most likely, even if you're the smartest person around, even if you have mad skills, you're going to have to show them to people. And you're not showing them based off of how great you are and what you think is awesome. You're showing them based off of their perspective and their situation, how you could solve a problem. Presentation skills, both public speaking and public presenting and one-to-one, one-to-many via video, what I'm doing right now. This is a skill that I learned. I spent thousands of hours building up my ability to talk in front of a camera. Why? Because my ability to present what I know in a way that people will understand is super important. It's not just about, do I get nervous in front of a camera or do I get nervous in front of people? It's also about how do I outline and tell a compelling story that takes the listener, the person I'm talking to, the reader, whatever it is, from point A to point B and proves my point, right? And so that really is why it's so important. Now, just remember these four areas: your network, your knowledge, your skills, and your presentation abilities. Crazy, crazy important. I'm going to make a video on each one of them where you can drill down into how I would go about doing it and specifically how I would use generative AI, how I would use ChatGPT to do it faster and better so that it becomes a superpower of mine. Because those four things are what you will need to go from where you are today to the top of the pile inside of your current job to be a top performer, and what you'll need to be able to bridge the gap and jump from where you're at today to the next stage that will take you to the career that you want in 5 to 10 years from now. Now, remember, you are in charge of your career adventure. It's up to you. You have to get in the driver's seat and take charge of doing these things. Nobody's going to ask you to. Your current boss is not going to ask you to learn the networking, the knowledge, the skills, the presentation ability that will get you to the next level. they're going to just judge you on your lack of it. So it's up to you. So thanks so much for watching today. Again, take a minute, like and subscribe to our channel, share it with a friend. Otherwise, we'll chat you soon.